Welcome to Something Wild with Tropi
and Dingus.
Now today we're going to talk about how the bar crusher withstands some pretty crazy ocean/river system adventures today.
One of my favourite things to do when we're planning a mission out in the bar crusher is to look on satellite images on Google Earth and just see what is the hardest place to possibly get to and see if we can get the bar crusher there.
Yeah, as we looked on Google Maps a few nights prior to this mission, I was looking at the interesting coastline of the Exmouth Gulf, and we saw that there's this, looked like a river system in there, and then it turned from like a pretty decent river system quickly into the narrowest creek that probably a paddleboarder can't get down.
But yeah, it looked like a good adventure. We loaded up the boat in the evening, headed across, had planned to have a bit more sunlight to get through the entrance to that creek. But yeah, we got there on sunset, and with a low light, a quickly draining tide, it wasn't long before we found ourselves strung up on a sandbar out the front in the entrance.
Oh, great to have a challenge and to push the bar crusher to the absolute limits.
Definitely. Luckily, this thing draws next to no water, and it's such a light vessel as well. For something so solid, all you have to do is just jump off and it floats straight off a little sandbar like that, and you can just push it back into the channel. Next to no viz, so we had to wait around a bit to find some clean water. But as soon as we're in 0.4, 0.5 metres of water, we can put the motor back down and putt straight back into the creek. So we got up there, set up camp, and the next morning, the aim of the day was to try get up that narrow channel and try connect the two systems together. So the next morning we started pushing up the creek and trying to go to that skinny system that connects the two different creeks together. It started off really well, and we were putting along at the start in about 0.7 metres of water, and then it got really skinny, and that was the first time I thought maybe we've taken the bar crusher just a little bit too far.
Yeah, I wasn't too worried about the depth rating of the vessel, obviously. 0.3 meters, you know, all you need is a tiny bit of tide and you're going to get through. But I was looking in as it was getting narrower and narrower, and when I looked off the side rail of the boat, I was just like, it's just straight land and mangroves. There was nothing but land on the side of the boat, and it was like the actual channel was thinner than the boat itself.
Just enough water that the middle of the hull could sit in the water, and at times we had two people along the side pushing it through. But there was plenty of times where I just grit my teeth and closed my eyes as the mangroves scraped along the side of the bar crusher.
Choppy, still feeling pretty ambitious?
We've got one big challenge ahead of us. This is the biggest boat to have ever made this crossing in the history of humanity, universe, time, space. Pretty wild. Well, we haven't made it yet.
We haven't made it yet. So after pushing the bar crusher to the absolute limits, was it worth the couple of scratches we put on your boat?
I was a bit devastated about the scratches, but it was an incredible adventure. Highlights were definitely seeing two sawfish critically endangered, and a first for us.
Yeah.
Catching some amazing mud crabs and cooking them up on the campfire with a bit of a family secret recipe.
Yeah.
And then the run home, getting a couple of tuna was also amazing. Another thing that is really epic about this boat is it actually blew up pretty rough on the way home. We had about a 20k run to do, but of course that's no worries for the bar crusher. A boat that can handle 0.3 meters of water and some really shallow creek systems, and then bash across some open water like that, keeping us dry and safe. Bar crusher, exceeding expectations as always. Well, that's all the bar crusher adventure we have for you today.
We'll see you guys next time we have something wild to talk about.
Something Wild with Tropi and Dingus. Brought to you in part by
Bar Crusher Boats.